We are now ready to begin our midweek press conference with our head coach Ari Weidman, and we will open up the floor for questions.
Well, let's start with the obvious. How did it feel to get that first win in conference?
Good. Happy to finally have one, and hopefully we can, keep some momentum going on the road this week.
What did you see from your girls in that win?
Yeah, I was pleased with, I told our kids, like, the 24-year-olds played like 24-year-olds. So Tenna and Maria starting to contribute on both ends, and I thought they were highly efficient, which helped us. And then positive assist-to-turnover ratio, it was 17-13, so that's a key stat for us. So we were sharing the ball, taking care of it a lot better. And then in terms of field goals, it was a lot more balanced, which I was happy about. So just want to continue to share the ball. Obviously, you want to be efficient from the field again. We hit closer to the percentages that I always want us to hit, so that was nice. So we just got to continue to build on that.
So I know it's a game-by-game thing, improve, but it's also jockey around and get into the top 8 to get to the tournament. So
Yeah.
As you look around and you see the conference, and you got 2 really tough games this week.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts as you guys navigate your way through the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I want to make sure that we're really locked in and trying to get some of these top 4 teams that are really, really good. But, I mean, we need to protect home and win those games, and then take care of, like, the splits or take care of the road wins that we need if people we beat at home. Like, there's just certain teams that we need to take care of. And so our prep is going to be the same, but, like, we dropped one at UC Riverside. And so, like, we need to get them here. But we have to make sure we're splitting and then trying to really protect home. But I think, every game, there's just so much parity. So it's like the team that's the most consistent that night. And so I know myself just got to make sure our guys are locked into every game and make sure they're rested too, just because of the quick turnarounds in these series too.
All right, so UC Santa Barbara first. What do we know about them?
Yeah, I mean, again, they can shoot it really well. Like, that's something they're really good at, spacing the floor, driving kick. And so we've got to do a much better job. Like, we watched that film, and we played terrible that first time out, and I'll take the blame for that one for sure. Just coming off that CSUN game, being able to lead and navigate better. Like, I've grown in that area, and I felt like we just weren't as locked in, and like we didn't bounce back. So we just weren't sharp that day. But yeah, they can score the ball and in a hurry, and so our transition defense has to be incredible, and we've got to do a much better job stopping the ball, finding shooters, and then we've got to score. We scored 47 points. Like, we're much better than that, and so we're gonna have to score the ball, obviously, right? And if we can have our guys continue to be consistent, and it's 4 or 5 people in double figures, that would be helpful. But it starts on the defensive end, and that comes down to desire and passion, and can we win 50-50 balls? So that's going to be a huge thing, and we've emphasized that all week so far.
When you've had games that you've struggled, it's, recently you had like 2 for 23 at the point range, and it's like, can't win that way.
Yeah.
And that's when you score in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
How do you fix that other than it's just, do you flush it and say we're better than that? Or do you, I know you can get in the gym and keep shooting, but I'm just sort of wondering what you saw. What do you see during good performances, bad performances? Is there anything that's different about them other than the ball goes in or the ball doesn't go in?
Yeah, I think that and focus, and then I'll take some things on, like, the team's been communicating more as far as, like, legs, if I'm managing that, and we were getting up and down, and now we're getting into, like, the middle of the season, right? And so, everything's 90 minutes now in terms of being in the floor, and so just managing, especially with our top 8, their rest and recovery with being on the road. And, like, I thought, I'm not going to do this every game, but right after Riverside, I would, last year I'd just go practice, right? And this year, like, we watched a movie and, focused on our belief system and can we fix us and film. And then the next day we woke up and we shot and we went over scout, but I just wanted to rest their legs so that we can run, because we do want to play fast. And so just managing that better and making sure that our kids are ready to run on game day,
Do you find it easier to speed up a slow team or to slow down a fast team?
Speed up a slow team, I think, is easier for us. And so, like, this is where we'll have to be so locked in against Santa Barbara, because they can push the tempo. And so we've got to really do a really great job of stopping the ball early and building out. And we weren't good that last time. And we're still, transition defense to me is the hardest thing to teach. And because you have to talk too, and people don't like doing that, especially nowadays. So you have to get organized on the fly, and that's the game within the game. And so we have to be so committed to that. And so our team has to, if not, we won't win, But I definitely think that we're a much better team. And so can we get organized defensively and slow the game down a little bit? And then offensively, can we continue to push and share the ball and hit open rhythm threes or layups?
So if I were just going off the standings, they'd say, okay, Santa Barbara's the better team. Okay?
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, would it be prudent even to go against what you like in that you like to speed up the game, but that means more possessions.
Yeah.
That means they get the ball more often as opposed to limiting the possessions, milking clock a little bit, and maybe that works in your favor. Any thoughts on that, or is that just not in your not your DNA, but I mean the team's DNA in terms of doing that?
Yeah, no, we will try to slow the game down, and that's important because I always think that not the pace, but the tempo is usually in favor of the better team, right? They usually dictate the tempo, and so we need to shift that because on paper they're the better team, and so we can't play at the pace that's comfortable to them. So then we have to change the pace and slow the game down a little bit. So we will do that. We can't continue. We can't go up and down with people who that's their same tempo they like, right? And so we'll have to press, but it won't be as aggressive. It'll be more to slow the game down at times, and then we just need to junk up things and make entries tough, and we didn't do that. But they need to be pressured. It's kind of like I watched our men's team when they played Idaho. Like they just pressured and they made them uncomfortable. If they're comfortable and able to make reads, then they're really good. And so we just have to be smart about our pressure in this game.
Does that change your players? Do they have to change their mindset even maybe in transition? I mean, when the numbers are there, go.
Yeah.
But if you're in transition and it looks like it's even Steven, it's like I might tell you certain games to go for it and shoot, but this game, pull it back.
Yeah. And I think that our kids know when there's advantage, but I still want them to go offensively, but defensively we'll try to slow some things down. But offensively, against a team that's heavy help, I call it church in the paint, because once you get in the paint, everybody lays hands on you. Like when there's church in the paint, we can't take off balance layups. Like we have to play off two. We need to spray it. They're going to give us open threes. We need to be able to knock them down. But we want multiple paint touches so they have longer closeouts. If we, against a team that is disciplined, if you try to score off the first action, right, or the first paint touch, you're bailing them out because they're not having to guard. So, yes, we do need to run our sets and have some continuity. We have to do that because I don't believe in bailing out teams that are good defensively. So our team, though, has to be, like I told them, you're going to have to listen to game plan, follow it. Can we execute our offenses? Because everything's not going to be just drive and kick. Where we're playing in flow, right? So I think they've had a good week of prep, so we just got to carry over.
And finally, and I know I'm setting myself up for a coach speak answer, paste and cut answer, but I'll try and maybe frame it a different way. What do you see the gap in this conference? Because is there a certain tier, and who are they? And is there a middle tier? Is there a lower tier? How do you see the closeness of the gap in this conference?
Yeah, I mean, today, just looking at it, like the top four teams to me, like even when we're recruiting, they have the best length. I mean, they also have the best resources, but they have the best length. And so we have to get bigger. And I think there's no secret with those teams. Like, they just have bigger guards. They can post you up. They shrink space. And so it's a matter of length. And then I think basketball acumen too. Like, I think those teams are really smart. But, and you need that, I think, when you're having such quick turnarounds. Like, can your team prep really, really fast? But besides the top four, I think it's pretty open. I think we're more similar, like in stature, most teams. It's more balanced, right? In terms of the kid skill set and things like that. I think there's a gap, I think, from the top four for sure. We want to close that gap, and we try to do that with the press or with speed, right?
Okay. Good.
All right.
Thank you. We're now ready to resume our midweek press conference. We're joined by head coach Mike Stott, and we'll open up the floor for questions.
All right, Coach. Let's start with. I'm trying to think who did I see walk off with another injury the last game? Did somebody get injured in the Long Beach game? You've had so many.
Yeah. AJ banged up, but Tom knee.
Okay.
CJ got surgery today.
Yeah.
Bentley's back. Yeah, everybody's back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If I can remember.
What about? Well, let's get an update on the surgery now. Are we still thinking 4 to 6 weeks? I know. He's telling me I'm taking vitamin D pills. I'm going to be back sooner. But what say you?
I mean, I hope he can be back sooner. I know that was the initial statement, was probably 4 to 6 weeks. It kind of depends on how he heals and how the recovery goes. But from everything I've heard, everything's going well so far. So we'll see. We'll see after this follow-up appointment. Yeah.
Not that you have a choice in the matter, but playing without him, what did you see in terms of the Long Beach State game without CJ?
I mean, it takes away a little bit of our speed and our ability to kind of get downhill at will. CJ's leadership and what he kind of brings to the table to hit some key shots for us and some key moments. We felt like we lost that a little bit. But we've been on Kadar and we've been on Mike Price about kind of stepping up their game. And I think they'll fill into the role as they get more comfortable playing those minutes and being in some of those situations.
Saturday, you said we let one slip away. When you looked at the tape, what's your conclusion in terms of what happened?
We try to pride ourselves in, like, when we get into those kind of games, especially when it's close and 2-3 minutes left in the game, 4 minutes left in the game. We try to pride ourselves on being disciplined and being able to go make those plays. And when I said I thought we let one slip away, I thought in terms of just our execution and things that we've done down the stretch, I thought there was some plays that we could have made, that we should have made, that we didn't. And that's a little bit of both, right? Like, it's a little bit of personnel, like Mike Price being in there and he wasn't in there all the time, and Bentley being in there and Bentley wasn't in there all the time, just kind of having some of those guys. Dylan Purnell getting in the game and being involved in some of that stuff is something that they're not accustomed to yet, something that they're growing into, but it's something that we got to get better at execution-wise.
Yeah. This would seem, and I know it's still young in the conference, but 2 home games sitting at 2-4. This, and both these teams vulnerable, I think, as Santa Barbara and San Diego. But how would you categorize how big a week this is, or maybe not make too much of it? I don't know. I
mean, every week in Big West is a big week because it's a conference game, right? You're fighting for seeding, you're fighting to get to the tournament, you're fighting for positioning, and then you want to win. So every week is a big week. This week is we always talk about being more important for home games because you feel like you want to win every single home game you play and protect your house. So we've kind of stayed consistent with that stuff. We've stayed consistent with what we're trying to do, trying to get guys to kind of fill into some roles and them understanding the importance of every possession as we go through conference play.
I understand you had a long film session.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means you watched every basket Santa Barbara scored the first game. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now that you look back at that game, what's your takeaway?
Just the same I thought when we played them, right? Like, I thought we rotated, and that was kind of during the time we were trying to fix some of the things that we had going on in terms of where do we rotate, how do we rotate, what are we trying to take away, what are we giving up. And I thought guys at the time just didn't really understand it, right? They didn't know the point of emphasis and what we're trying to do, which, I'm not going to say that everybody understands it now all the way, but basketball, you're going to kind of make some mistakes. And what I believe Santa Barbara has always been good at is they train their guards to make really good reads. And I've said that kind of since I've been here, to make really good reads in the way they play. So for us, we are a different team. We are a more disciplined team. We'll guard them better. But at the time when we watched the film, I mean, it was like every shot they were shooting was going in. And sometimes that's part of it too. You run up against a team that runs offense that way and they shoot the ball that well, you're probably in for a long night. And then you'll watch them play some other games, and you got some guys that's 2 for 10 and some guys that's 1 for 8, and those nights is long nights for them, right? So we just wanted to be a long night for them and not for us when they come in our place.
Yeah. Part of the bad math is that CJ's always had good games against Santa Barbara.
Yes.
So you're without that, how do you get that offense against Santa Barbara?
Just keep the sense of urgency at a high level. Something that I talked to the team about. Look, when you got opportunity, go. You open, shoot the basketball, and let's continue to play. We've been getting scoring from everywhere. I think when we beat Davis, CJ had 0 points before he got hurt, but Jaden went off. I think the following game it was Dalen who kind of went off for a flurry. Now I'm trying to get all them guys to kind of play well at the same time so we can score 85, score 90 points in some of these victories. And I think for our team to really understand what that means, I mean, everybody got to be dialed in, right? Like when your opportunity comes, you got to be prepared and got to be ready for it. So just our sense of urgency for all of those little things, being prepared, being shot ready, making good passes, sprinting to spots, just having a sense of urgency about ourselves.
I know you could probably say this about every team in America, but your team looks just so much better when everybody's moving, as opposed to 3 guys, maybe 4 standing.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you influence them to keep that flow going? Because when they're in attack mode, it seems like a different team.
Yeah, and that's it's a give and take, right? Like, so I talked to you guys a bunch about, like, when we first got started, like us trying to flip the way we were playing and us trying to, get guys to kind of break habits that they have already had of kind of this is how we're going to play. And now we're kind of at that place where you'll see glimpses of like what I want to do and how I want to play. And obviously CJ makes that better because CJ was a guy that moved and got downhill and kind of forced some people to move. But you just keep practicing it. You just keep telling them like, hey, you can't stand there. That guy's open. Move it and cut, or pass and move. So you just keep reiterating that to them until it kind of hits home. I hope that it happens faster than we get to March and then we finally playing well, but we're not in the tournament. But we've been doing a really good job of kind of teaching guys, hey, this is a backdoor cut. This is a slip. This is you coming off. This is turning the corner and getting to the paint. And just kind of preaching it to them guys. And as they get more comfortable and doing it in the game, it'll look a lot better. One of the things that hurt us the most is we just had multiple guys out. So you're trying to put guys in practice that, like Bentley sometimes plays the 4 in practice. Dylan plays the 4 in practice. Jaden is playing the 4 sometime in practice. Like, we just haven't been healthy all year to kind of keep guys in their natural position. So we'll figure it out. No excuses from us. We'll figure it out. We'll get them going, and we'll play well.
I know you're not at the halfway point yet, but is there some scoreboard watching at this point? Is you're sort of where you are in the standings?
No. I've always been a guy to kind of focus on the next day, the next play, the next possession, and we'll continue to do that. Obviously, you know where guys are in the league, but our job is just we need to beat Santa Barbara on Thursday, and then we'll focus on Saturday.
Not that it matters, and I think you've had a couple of these, and fortunately they're both home games, but what about that quick turnaround, a Thursday night to a Saturday 1 p.m.? Any thoughts?
I mean, I've always told our team, like, look, if you're trying to go play at the next level, like, that's what it's about, right? You go on the road, you play the Clippers, and then you play the Lakers, and it's probably a back-to-back night, right? Same court, different floor. You go and you play Sacramento, you play Phoenix the next night. And I think Thursday, Saturday kind of prepares you for those. Even when I played overseas, we were Thursday, Saturday. You wake up all week, and we played on Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and you kind of get that break in between. But I think it prepares you for where we're all trying to go, where a bunch of our guys are trying to play at. And it's something that that's what they want to do, then you rather learn it now than you get to the next level, and then you figure out, man, I can't play on Saturday because I was too tired Thursday or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, something you can't control, but an oddity in the schedule, and that you're seeing Santa Barbara a second time before you've even seen Hawaii, Cal Poly, or San Diego. You're seeing them a second time here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that it's a random kind of pool. We just take them as they go, whether we see them and before or after. We got to play them twice. So for us it'll give us a chance to get that taste out of our mouth from the last time we played them. So I'm actually excited and looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, for me, it seems like, we've seen Dalen go off on games, we've seen Jaden do it. Ron Jessamy has moments where you just go, oh my God, did you see that dunk? Or did you see him go over that guy?
Yeah.
And then other moments, he just looks like either his footwork betrays him or something goes on. And I'm just sort of wondering, because he seems like the sky's the limit for that guy when he's got things going.
Yeah. When part of Ron recruitment was trying to get him to understand he can be a higher level player with consistency. It was something that, a lot of guys that we get at this level usually come with some of that stuff about just being an everyday guy, being able to show up every day in practice and deliver, being able to show up every game and deliver. And that's something that Ron has to learn. And that was one of the reasons why he chose to come here, because he wanted the challenge and he wanted to try to learn it. We've been on him about it, but CJ went through it. And last year, CJ he would get 25 in a game, and then he's 2 points, and then he's, 8 assists in the game, and then he's 1 assist. And we trying to work with him to get him to understand, like, no, every day you got to be dialed in. Every day it's a different matchup. Every day you got to know the personnel, know the scout, and where your rotations are coming from. So Ron is another one that we've put a lot of time into to make sure that he's consistent. And that's been a staple of our player development. Corey Stevenson went through it. Jamel Jones went through it. Like, all these guys, Marvin McGee went through it. JD went through it. Like, all these guys, even guys from the past, just getting them to understand how important it is to show up every day and be able to perform.
And finally, and this is, I have no evidence to show for it, but I'm just an observation. Do you feel like maybe sometimes your team, I guess certain guys, but your team is sometimes too tentative offensively?
I don't know if I would say tentative. The word I've been using is urgency, because I do think guys attack. I don't think they have the urgency to go as hard. Sometimes I think we drive and we just automatically think this is going to happen, and then when it don't happen, it's almost they put us on our heels. And that's something that we've stressed all week and we'll continue to stress, is guys are rotating, but if you're not rotating with urgency, you're giving up 3 points. Guys are driving, but if you're not driving with no urgency, you're probably going to miss the layup, right? If Ron catches the ball down in the post and he don't go up to dunk it, he probably going to miss it. And that's something that we just been stressing to the team is man, we got to have some pop, we got to have some urgency to get things done. And I think we'll be prepared and we'll be ready.
And a final one for me, because I just thought of something, and my eyes are not lying to me on this one. I've seen more than one guy pass up an open 12-footer to shoot a contested 8-footer. I'm just wondering, as a coach, when you look at that or if you watch tape, I'm just sort of wondering, what's the inside chat with the players? And it's not just one guy. I've seen a number of guys pass up a shot at the elbow to shoot a contested floater or just to get a little closer, but it's contested.
Again, that's something that we just kind of preach to our guys. You got to shoot the ball. And again, I think a lot of it comes down to what their feel is, right? Some guys are coming down, they feel like I got a taller guy on me, so I don't want to shoot the pull-up. I'm trying to get to the floater so I can get the shot off. Some of it is kicking, right? Like, get to that spot and you draw into, and like you got to get up off the ball. But that was why our film session was as long as it was today. We had a lot of those plays in there. But it's something that we definitely could do a better job of, and guys are starting to get to understand that. And they're also getting to understand me and what I want in terms of shooting the ball, right? Like, we move it, we get it there, you open, you got to let it go, right? You got to fire it away. Understand who's closing out to you and how you're supposed to attack them. And those are things that, like, it takes a little time to kind of pick up and read. And again, for us, just flipping, we've we started out, we wanted to play fast and get up and down the floor. We felt like we had our whole team. We were doing that, and then we get some guys hurt, and you try to slow it down, and now you're playing through inside out, and you get a couple other guys hurt, and now you're playing off ball screen actions and trying to read and react. So as we kind of settle in and we get some guys stable enough, we'll be all right again. Yep.
Good.
Yep, thank you, Coach, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate your time, man.
No problem.